Hello everyone, this is Mega Blade J, and welcome to another game review. As I said in previous reviews, growing up there were a number of games I missed out on. One such series I finally did try was that of the Shining series of games. Just as a refresher, the Shining series is one of Sega's oldest franchises, starting with Shining in the Darkness on the Sega Genesis. Since then, it's had numerous sequels, spin-offs, anime OVAs, and has appeared on many systems. As of this review, the last main game released was Shining Resonance Refrain in 2018, and the spin-off fighting game Blade Arceus Rebellion from Shining in 2019 for the PS4 and Switch. Since then, the series has remained dormant. Fortunately, fans have taken it upon themselves to translate some of the Japanese-only games into English. An example being last year's translation of Shining Blade for the PSP. This was my first Shining game and was an excellent action RPG. And now, another PSP Shining game is available in English, with a few caveats. Hey there, this is Mega Blade J, and this is my review of Shining Ark for the Sony PSP. Shining Ark is a turn-based action JRPG. It was developed by Media Vision and was published by Sega for the PSP on February of 2013. Media Vision is a very prolific Japanese studio and has been making games since the PS1 era. Some of their works include Time Crackers, the Wild Arms and Chaos Ring series, Valkyria Chronicles 3 and 4, the 100-line Last Defense Academy, and Digimon Story Time Stranger. As far as I can tell, Shining Ark is the last of the Shining games that were made for the Sony PSP. The other two being Shining Hearts and the previously mentioned Shining Blade. The story of Shining Ark begins on a remote tropical island. While walking on the beach, Freed, a young man living on said island, finds a mysterious girl with a single black wing.
Otou-san.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
The girl's name is Panis, and of course, has amnesia and doesn't remember a thing. Freed and the other villagers take pity on her and decide to welcome her into the village. A few days later, a giant monster attacks. No one can hurt the thing, and all hope seems lost. That is, until Panis is able to stop the beast by singing. Rumors of the angel with great magical power begin to spread far and wide. Unfortunately, this attracts the attention of power-hungry pirates and mysterious figures who want to kill Panis. Seeing that their new friend's in danger, Freed and the rest of the village decide to protect Panis while also trying to uncover the mystery of who she is. While it does use the old mysterious girl with mysterious power trope, I found the overall story was okay, if not a bit slower paced and more laid back than what I'm used to. Unlike Shining Blade, which had you fighting a war across multiple countries, you spend most of Ark on one island, taking care of random problems the villagers have, with some pirate attacks and main plot-relevant quests sprinkled in. It starts off pretty strong. They're slowly introducing the characters, setting up how the world works, etc. Then, around the middle, the story slows down and you start getting more slice-of-life type quests. Like, for example, you may need to get rid of some monsters messing with the fishing boats, or beat some monsters in the forest so you get some medicine. It's usual stuff. At first it's fine, doesn't hurt anything. It does help you learn more about the village, but it drags on a bit too long for me. The fact that they reuse the same dungeon multiple times does not help either. And yes, I know I'm comparing Shining Ark to Shining Blade a lot, but that's the only other Shining game I played. Plus, in Blade, the story was moving from goal to goal, so you felt like you were constantly making progress. This one's way more laid back. It's like we do 3 casual quests, then 1 or 2 major plot quests, then back to casual for the next 3. Around the last 2 chapters of the game, the story does pick up again. But until that point, there's no real main bad guy or real sense of urgency. While I did enjoy the story overall, the slower pace and many filler quests were not my cup of tea, and I wish the main plot would just hurry up. Now, these issues may have been made worse by certain aspects of the translation. More on that later. The gameplay is a mixture of slice of life, visual novel, and action RPG. As said before, you spend the entire game with the village as your main hub of operation. From here, you can interact with NPCs, plant crops to get extra items, buy or upgrade equipment, and do repeatable side quests for extra experience. As you progress through the story, there will be various NPCs to talk to. Some will be needed to progress the story, while others are optional. Talking with them works like a visual novel. They'll ask you a set of questions that have to be answered in a limited time. Depending on how you answer, the affinity with that character will either go up or down. A high affinity means you unlock more background conversations and side quests with that character. It also means higher stats boosts and special moves in combat. While Shining Blade brought in many playable characters from past Shining games, Ark focuses more on a smaller new cast, with the occasional cameo here and there. While this might seem like a downgrade, it does allow you more time to get to know each character. Or, that's what I would say if the dialogue was better. Once again, more on that later. Combat is very similar to Shining Blade, in that it's still a mixture of turn-based and real-time action, but there are a few new additions. When you select your character, you can move them around the field as long as you have stamina. One new feature is that while you're moving, you can use some of your stamina to guard incoming attacks or dash through enemies for extra damage. I personally never found it useful, but the option is there. When in position, you can attack, use items, or special attacks. Each character has their own special class with their own strengths and weaknesses. Some classes like sword fighters have decent movement but short attack range. Mages and archers can attack long distances but can't take too many hits. And then the bigger, bulkier characters are very powerful, can take many hits, but are slow as molasses and can't move very far. Knowing the strengths and weaknesses of each character is key to victory. One cool returning feature is as enemies approach, your archers automatically counterattack. Set up a few archers and you can whittle down or take out weaker foes. But be careful, as most foes can do the same to you. Another new feature is that you can see the turn order on the bottom of the screen. It reminds me a lot of the original Grandia and actually functions in a similar manner. Like that game, you have special attacks that can delay or cancel enemy turns, giving you more of an advantage. If you attack next to an ally, the two of you can do a team attack, doing double the damage for that turn. As you attack your foes, you'll build up magic power. Build up enough, and you can use special attacks. Each character has their own specific set of special attacks, each costing a certain amount of magic. These include short-range sword strikes, area of effect magic, as well as attacks to attract aggro, tank multiple hits, or cancel enemy attacks. In addition, the game includes giant monster and ship battles. These battles come with their own special conditions that help to mix up combat. The giant fights, for example, have you using cannons to weaken the armor of a giant before you do major damage to it. The combination of old and new features come together to make a very fun and engaging combat system that I never grew bored of. The music and voice acting was also pretty good. The voices helped bring life to the characters, and there are many music tracks that stuck with me after the game was done. Like Shining Blade, this is definitely one of the better looking PSP games. During the visual novel sections, character portraits are large, highly detailed, and show a variety of emotions. The 3D models and backgrounds look fantastic and are some of the best I've seen on the PSP so far. The character art is still done by Japanese artist Tony Taka. He's done work on previous Shining games, a handful of light novels, and some 18 and up works. Hey, like I said in the last review, it pays the bills. Shining Ark was only released in Japan, but there is an English fan translation online. If you want to own a copy, it can be found for around $10 to $30 online. A bit of a warning about the fan translation. From what I can find, this game was translated mainly using AI. And yes, AI was used to translate Shining Blade as well. In Blade, however, only the side stories were translated with AI. The main storyline was human translated, and it was very obvious when AI was used. Ark, on the other hand, seems to have pretty much been entirely translated with AI. And holy crap does it show. The vast majority of dialogue is a garbled mess of English. It's coherent enough to where you can get the gist of what the characters are talking about, but sometimes it's just utter nonsense, and I became completely lost. Like I said, most of the time it's coherent enough to where you can tell what's going on in the story, but it was difficult to play through this game and take the story seriously or get invested in the characters, which is a shame. I can see where they were going for, and I feel like with a better translation, this could possibly be one of my favorite PSP RPGs. But in its current state, I had a hard time connecting with the characters and caring about them during emotional moments when I'm laughing my butt off at them. While I'm happy we got a translation at all, I do hope that one day someone will retranslate the game so it can be properly played. Despite the translation issues, overall, I did enjoy my time with Shining Ark. It had a fun combat system, great graphics, and took over 40 hours to beat. If you're a fan of the Shining games, or just looking for another good PSP game to play, I recommend this game, preferably after a proper English translation has been made. Now only Shining Hearts is left. Hopefully it gets translated soon as well. And hopefully it's done by a person and not AI. This has been Mega Blade J. If you enjoyed the review, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more Let's Plays, reviews, and my poor attempts to entertain you all. Thanks for watching, and see you all next mission. Bye.